burrito. Alright, before we have a final comment, give it up for Ira Nova. Give it up for Ryan the Soundman and Shannon Hunt. Alright, and then give it up for your headlining comic, Christopher Boatwright.
Thank you, Ira. Thank you, Chris. You guys, I was going to do a completely different set that I'm going to end up doing today. So I apologize, because that was actually written and thought out. This is a 5-year anniversary of my celibacy, but I realized, like a fine wine, that's just going to get funnier and funnier, probably for the rest of my life. I want to talk to you a little bit about a guy named Ray. This is my grandfather, and we said our goodbyes to my grandfather yesterday at his memorial, and I destroyed. I mean, it was like I had been studying Krav Maga for 10 years and was in a room full of epileptic children. I annihilated those guys. It was great. Literal tears. And you don't see that a lot at my family funerals. But I'm going to talk about Ray because he was a funny guy. He got really funny. Like, funny the way that only a person with Alzheimer's and dementia and 5 strokes in 2 years can get. Like 3 minutes at a time. And I'm working on that myself. Going by this example, like about 35 years ago. But he was funny, he smiled all the time. He could only say 3 words, and it was yes, yes, yes. And I would occasionally use that to the consternation of my uncle, because I would set up questions for my grandfather. You know, like, you love me more than Uncle Ray, don't you? He would say yes, 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 and I explained why my uncle was looking really evil at me yesterday while I was doing my set. He paid for it, I think he gets the front row. But you push no light at a memorial service. You guys know that? You get part of light there. They try to give you like a half a Costco cheesecake at the end. Coffee's free. You can do racial stuff if it's older crowd. You know, I mean, I don't work blue, but I worked like baby blue. It was great. It was a good room. You can actually sometimes you can do the same joke to close and end. It's great. But you know, that humor ran my family. That dementia-induced humor ran my family. His own mother. Much the same as him. She went there, but she was a goofy person like him. Like, we used to have to take her shoes away from her. It's a true story. There's a different kind of laugh that's going to come from this group than this group. It's still a loving laugh. We used to take her shoes away from her. We had a pool, and we lived out in Wilsonville. They lived out in Wilsonville, and we were all at the pool one day, and she sees me coming back from the swimming pool, and she looks at my feet, and they took your shoes away too. Because that was her reality, and it was a great memory. My grandfather, the memories like that. I mean, my grandfather's here with us right now, and I mean that literally. My grandfather. Well, I don't know how much. I figure about 3 grams. I mean, the container says 1 gram. That's not a correct label. Now you're probably wondering, why is your grandfather in a marijuana dispensary joints to? That's because I didn't plan on possibly committing felony corpse theft when I went to the memorial yesterday, and this is what I had on me. And you're also probably wondering, why is it sealed with rainbow tape? That's because I didn't read the labels. I didn't label it with my grandfather, and I did what was in this one, just momentarily in this one. So depending on how you feel about ritualistic cannibalism, I may have committed cultural co-option from the Amazon rainforest. But I feel like he would have done that. He liked National Geographic. I think there was a lot of dog-eared pages in certain issues. But my grandfather was a mid-century Mad Men style Scotch at lunch businessman. New Cadillac every year. That was what he was. They'd have smokers. They'd get together and buy a bottle of Blue Label, illegal cigars. And they would, be sexist and probably racist and homophobic, but they had a good time doing it. And whatever. I mean, nobody could hear because those guys couldn't get into those clubs anyways. But you couldn't judge him by his cover. All right, my grandfather was a New Deal Democrat. That's a guy who actually knew the definition of socialism before he was told to hate it. Those are the people who got the shit beat out of them for trying to move crops by honored institutions, like the, I don't know, anyways. But the point is this was a New Deal Democrat who voted for Reagan twice, Bush once, and learned. And voted Democrat every day, well, not every day, but, every few years for the rest of his life. You couldn't judge him by his cover. This little fat Jew, Ira. What's fucked up, Ira, is that when we say minions, people think about little yellow pill shit dudes. shouldn't judge him by the cover. And I thought about that, and then I said, well, you kind of can now. My grandfather was a hybrid. He liked to party and relax. I don't think he was 18.64% THC, but he did vote 0.17 on one of the occasions. My grandfather was a funny guy who gave a lot of love to a lot of people, and I just want to say that I feel that coming from you guys every time I'm here. And even if your grandfather's full of shit, enjoy it and have a great time with that guy, and have a great time with yourselves. Oh, and I just had a thought too, thinking about my grandfather. I'm going to leave you with this. I realized why parents pressure their kids to have kids themselves. They want to see what it's like for the people who made them feel like losers with outdated ideas to finally go through that experience themselves. So like 20-something years from now, you're going to be the asshole that I am, and you have that to look forward to. Have a beautiful night and love one night.
I got a freeze cut on like the end of Rocky 2 or Rocky 3. My apologies.
Who has a phone?
Oh, nah. Anyway, the point is, guys, this has been the Kelly's Olympian Open mic. A big round of applause. Oh, George! And Kyle, I got one more joke for you. You know, in Star Wars, how Han, you know who Han shot?
Who?
Greedo. More like Greedo. Every Sunday from now until eternity, come to this mic. We sign up at 3. We do 3:30. Maybe Kyle George will take over for real one day. But not while I'm still alive. So if I die, even if like a person murders me in public and confesses to it, look at Kyle George. Alright. You know Ira's behind everything. Alright. Ira Novos, Jeremiah, Shannon, Kyle, Chris. We out!